Hey guys, we need to talk. And I thought I may as well be talking right here because this guy is making me happy. Bottom line as to what I want to say is that Infinity Nikki is flawed and it will probably never not be flawed. Like, we don't have the best quality control. And I don't expect better quality control to just kind of manifest into existence, even if this is a very big company. So like you could see in this patch, for example, mouths wouldn't move when people were speaking, or mouth flaps would be delayed. These kind of bugs are just things that keep on happening in this game. Somebody recently encountered that bug where they couldn't fight any boldies, which was the same kind of bug that I encountered a couple of months prior on my secondary account. It is the kind of quality of a game that we live with. Another thing is that monetization is something that will probably always be some level of predatory. The Splendid Gift thing, which is a tiered purchase, is a very good example of this. Where because they keep on putting things that people really want into the tiered purchase, most people will pay real life money and buy however many tiers that they want, me included, which means that the company is incentivized to continue doing tiered purchase. Remember when we had an outrage about 11-piece sets in 1.5? That might just come back in 2.0, and people might just have a lot less outrage by this point. Because let me tell you this straight. Let's relocate and let's stand next to Giovanni, because this is also a very fun thing to stare about. Let me put this straight. I think that the community is tired. I'm tired. There isn't a lot of games that are like Infinity Nikki. In fact, there is only one Infinity Nikki. There has been quite a lot of magic inside 1.0. And rose-tinted glasses came off at 1.5 for most people, even though there were still problems before that point, but problems just kinda came out really vividly at that point. And since then, there were things that were good and that imply that the company is listening, such as, for example, this guy. How long have we not seen this guy and suddenly we have him? Suddenly we have characters that are meaningful to the story put out there. There have been a couple of experiments by the company that were interesting, to say the least. Like, we have our own very jank housing system, which, to give credit where credit's due, despite it being very junk, is an engaging feature. And it did probably take quite a long time for them to cobble it together. So it's not like they're not trying entirely, but there are things with this game that are wrong, that they're probably incapable of fixing or not gonna fully fix. Buggy releases being one of them, increasing monetization being another, and when all the magic was just kinda sucked out of the game at 1.5, people genuinely wanted Info to get better, and they genuinely wanted to recapture that magic. And a lot of things have changed since December 2024. World-wise as well, which really adds to this attitude. There is a lot of weight on people's shoulders right now. So when they come back home to sit down and play a game, that they're aware it is flawed, because it has been for a very long time now. I think that there is a genuine desire from the people to have fun. I think that they're tired of pointing at where the game is flawed exactly, and there's just a desire to experience joy. And my little monkey brain says shiny dress equals joy. My little monkey brain says story progression equals joy. My little monkey brain tells me Giovanni existing again brings me quite a lot of joy, honestly. If this was any other year, it might be a bit different. But now I'm sitting here in the country that I'm sitting in, and I have to contend with there being no jobs. I have to think about all the bills. I have to contend with increasing hate, and I have to wonder whether or not I will be deported. So there is so much bullshit that however amount of bullshit happens with this game in terms of bugs and monetization, I think my brain will sit here and go, hee hee, pretty flower. Like, we got another sparkly dress. And I think that that is where we're at, folks. So I want to spend this month being nostalgic, because a lot of good things have happened. If you genuinely hated this game, you wouldn't still be sticking around, honestly, and I don't. So, of course, I stick around. And I want to spend 2.0 having fun. I hope that that's not gonna make me so positive that I'm practically toxic in my positivity, but that is a possibility where I just need to spend the time enjoying what has become one of my favorite games, because hee sparkly dress makes all the right things go off in my brain, and hee story progression and nice looking guys also make all the right things go off in my brain. So where I'm at right now is that I am so tired of the flawed parts of the game, that I've gotten used to them existing, and that I've started to be able to kind of block them out. So I am kind of enjoying this November, just looking back at everything that came before, and I am really dead set on having fun with 2.0. And I think only 2.0 being more disastrous than 1.5 could actually change that. And I foresee that not being the case. I foresee it going down a lot better than 1.5, but if you were to rub my magic ball, I would say that they might try more scummy monetization practices, such as returning 11-piece sets. Because for one thing, they never said that they're never gonna do 11-piece sets, they just told us that they're gonna inform us if they ever go above 11, so I'm kind of fully expecting that. But because I am fully expecting that, and because I have this strong desire to just have fun, I think my content might start becoming a bit less critical for the time being. And that's where I am. That's where I am mentally. Where I am mentally is, I acknowledge that this game is not perfect, that it will never be perfect, and that it will always be flawed. I also acknowledge that there's quite a lot of fun bits to it, and that I do actually want to spend my time enjoying them. I know that this is a very weird video to make, but I wanted to just put into thoughts as to what is happening in my psyche. And I think it also illustrates how a lot of the community is feeling, where people just wanna have fun. Cue the track, girls just wanna have fun. And because there is such a strong desire to just having fun, I think as long as we don't get like a 2 out of 10 content, we'll manage to achieve the strong desire to just have fun. So I think that 2.0 will be very hype, actually, based on that alone. I don't know if this is my pessimist brain speaking or what, but if you ask me, that's my predictions for how everything is gonna go down. And I also ask you to take this video into account in case I get overly happy in December or January while doing all the new content, or in case you notice softer content coming out in November, as I'm just kinda reminiscing, really. I have scheduled a couple of things with other creators. I also have a couple of unreleased videos that are a lot more positive, and that is kind of where we're gonna skew. And this is kind of my warning for you. Now, I know that I'm a very rambly person. I hope that the meaning of this actually comes through. And I wanna honestly ask you, how are you all feeling? Just 2.0 and life in general, because I think people are just really tired and we need happy things in our life. And it's easy to have that happy thing be something like Infinity Nikki. That's my way of thought. But that's just me, and that's just my brain, and that's just what I'm observing. And I might be entirely wrong, so, you know, keep this video in mind as this channel goes forward through November, December, January. About there, past that, probably the newness will start wearing off again. And also just like, give me your thoughts. How are you feeling about Infinity Nikki going into 2.0? If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Also, thank you for my Patreon supporters. And I hope I'm gonna see you on my other videos. Toodaloo.